So, if you've been trying to keep up with China's economy lately, you've probably got whiplash. One minute you're reading headlines about stagnation and historic low confidence. The next, you hear these whispers of a quiet, really powerful resurgence. So, which one is it? Let's unpack this paradox together and figure out what's really going on.
And hey, it's not just us feeling this way. The experts see this exact same contradiction. This line from McKinsey pretty much perfectly frames the puzzle we're about to solve. This isn't some simple story of a boom or a bust. It's a story packed with paradoxes.
And here it is, the heart of the paradox in one shot. On one side, you have consumer confidence, which is hovering near an all-time low. People are genuinely worried. And yet, on the other side, they are spending record-breaking amounts of money in very specific, high-value areas. How on earth can both of those things be true at the exact same time?
That is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? To get to the answer, we have to peel back the layers of those headlines and really dig into the data. Because what it shows is a massive structural shift happening right now inside one of the world's most critical economies.
Okay, so to solve this puzzle, the first thing we have to do is follow the money. And it turns out an absolutely incredible amount of it is piling up in one place: household savings accounts.
So, why are people being so cautious? Well, it's not exactly a secret. Of course, there's general uncertainty about the economy and jobs, but the single biggest driver here is the stress in the real estate market. You have to remember, for millions of Chinese families, their property is their wealth. So when that market gets shaky, they play it safe.
And playing it safe has led to this, a truly mind-boggling number. By the middle of 2025, total household bank deposits hit 163 trillion renminbi. That is an almost unimaginable amount of cash just sitting on the sidelines.
But here's the kicker. This isn't just a static pile of money. It's a mountain that is growing, and it's growing fast. This number, nearly $18 trillion in new savings, was added in just 6 months. Now, put that in perspective. In the first half of 2024, it was $11.5 trillion. In 2023, it was only $6.5 trillion. The pile is getting bigger, and it's getting bigger faster every year.
And this brings us to a really important way of looking at this. The data suggests the so-called wall of savings isn't a sign of economic paralysis. It's actually a strategic and, frankly, rational choice by millions of people to move their money away from a volatile property market. So what this really is a massive reservoir of future demand just waiting to be unlocked.
So, if all this money is piling up in savings, does that mean nobody's spending anything? Oh, not at all. Actually, what's happening is that consumers are being incredibly deliberate and strategic about where their money is going. And the difference in where they're spending is just staggering. I mean, look at this. While the basics, like clothing, are seeing just a little bit of growth, people are pouring money into their homes and into their health. That 30% jump in home appliances, that is not random. It is a clear signal of a nesting trend, where the home is now the main focus for investment and comfort. So this is what a lot of analysts are now calling the new consumer playbook. People are definitely still spending, but they're spending smarter. They're flocking to discount retailers, they're choosing healthier food, they're investing in making their homes better. It's a fundamental shift towards things that offer long-term value and improve personal well-being.
Now, this whole transformation, it's not just happening within China's borders. This new, much more demanding consumer is forcing Chinese companies to innovate at a breakneck speed. And that innovation is now sending massive ripple effects all across the globe.
And there is nowhere you can see this shift from maker to innovator more clearly than in the auto industry. I mean, look at this. In just 5 years, China has completely flipped the global order on its head, becoming the world's #1 car exporter. The numbers are almost hard to process, from just 700,000 cars in 2019 to 5.5 million, soaring past the longtime champions, Japan and Germany.
And the engine powering this absolute dominance is electric vehicles. In 2024, the Chinese automaker BYD didn't just sell more EVs than Tesla, it sold more than double. This is no longer a story about catching up. In terms of sheer volume and revenue, this is a fundamental reordering of who's on top in the car world.
And listen, this isn't just about cranking out more cars anymore. This quote really nails the new reality. We're talking about Chinese car makers taking the lead in innovation, in design, in performance. You've got newcomers like Xiaomi jumping into the market and immediately breaking speed records on German racetracks.
This innovation wave is going way beyond heavy industry, too. It's now hitting culture. Check out the toy company, Popmart. In just 3 years, its international business has absolutely exploded, from a tiny 4% sliver of their revenue to almost 40%. That is an explosive global embrace of Chinese-born creativity.
Or just look at the video game Black Myth Wukong, which became a massive global phenomenon. It sold over 28 million copies, with a third of its players coming from outside of China. It got so popular it became the second most played game ever on the Steam platform, and, get this, it tripled tourism to the real-world locations featured in the game. That's Chinese soft power in action.
Okay, so China is exporting innovation and culture like never before. But the flow is not just one way. A really crucial and often overlooked piece of this story is how the rest of the world is now flowing back in.
Contrary to a lot of the narratives out there, international travel to China hasn't just recovered to pre-pandemic levels, it's now actually 22% higher. And a huge driver for this has been a really smart policy change expanding visa-free entry for travelers from 55 countries, making it easier than ever for the world to come see for itself.
And it's not just people, it's capital. Big money is flooding back in too. Fundraising on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange saw this incredible rebound, jumping from just 13 billion Hong Kong dollars in the first half of 2024 to over 107 billion in the same period this year. That is a massive vote of confidence from global investors.
Okay, so that was a lot. We've unpacked the paradox, we've looked at the wall of savings, the new consumer playbook, the two-way global flows. So what's the bottom line here? What are the key strategic takeaways from this complicated new reality?
Well, this new landscape really demands a whole new strategy. For multinational companies, that old one-size-fits-all China strategy is basically dead. Success now means having a laser-focused, category-specific plan. For investors, the simple story of a stalled economy is just plain wrong. The real opportunities are in companies built on technology and intellectual property. And for policymakers, this signals a whole new era of global competition, one that's driven by forces that need a much more sophisticated response.
And just when you think the picture is crystal clear, the market throws one final twist at you. This isn't just a simple story of domestic brands winning. In certain areas like high-end outdoor gear, foreign brands are absolutely thriving. The fact that 6 of them are now pulling in over $500 million each year proves that this is a mature, complex market with plenty of room for both local heroes and global leaders to succeed.
Which brings us to our final big picture question. What we are witnessing is a fundamental transformation of China's economy. It's shifting from a single engine built on manufacturing to this complex, multi-layered ecosystem. So the huge question we're all left with is, how is this new reality going to reshape the future of global competition and maybe, just maybe, collaboration?